I'm Bill Hitchcock, another kitchen edition of all things marine fisheries. And for those of you who study these videos just to see how I'm screwing up and what's different, the toaster is now on top of the refrigerator and the Thunder Chicken is where the toaster was. So there's the change. What we're doing today, important, lobbyists. We're going to talk about lobbying and lobbyists here in North Carolina in regards to the North Carolina marine fisheries. And why I'm doing this is that all of the videos I've done before that are marine fisheries rules and regulations related, I keep hearing, it's them commercial fishermen lobbyists. They've gotten to everybody. One guy even talked about all the Democrats, all the Republicans across the state. Them commercial fishermen have gotten it. And I found this quite confusing. The confusing part is why do you think it's only the commercial fishing families of North Carolina that have a lobbyist? You're going to be really surprised what organizations have lobbyists and how they use them, but you're going to be more surprised probably once you find out what it takes to be a lobbyist here in North Carolina and also federally. There are federal regulations in regards to lobbying, particularly since, as far as I know, all of these organizations I'm going to be talking about are 501c3 nonprofit charitable organizations. And they ain't supposed to be lobbying, or are they? Let's get into it. First of all, let's go to the Secretary of State, Elaine, Marshall. Let's go to the state. Let's find out what is lobbying. And it says right here, it says lobbying is the influencing or attempting to influence legislative or executive branch actions. Lobbyists, lobbyist principals, state and local liaisons must register annually to lobby certain elected and appointed government officials. Come back here for a second. Key words there, must register annually. It's not a one and done. Each year you got to do it, and all must report quarterly, and all of this information is accessible in our directory. So if you're going to lobby, you got to register each year, and everything, you got to file a report quarterly. Good. I've got the URL address in the remarks comment down below because I want you to go to the Secretary of State website, and I want you, you can search. Whoever, is this person a lobbyist? Is this entity a lobbyist here in North Kakalaki? You can go take a look. Now, do you regulate all lobbying? Right out the bat, they say, no. What? We only regulate a portion of lobbying. We regulate paid lobbyists who lobby designated individuals in state government. Does everyone who tries to influence the General Assembly or state government have to register as a lobbyist? No. You only have to register if you are paid to lobby and you lobby certain people called designated individuals. Long story short, you and I can just go to the hallowed halls of the state legislature and go speak to somebody about a thing. You don't have to register as a lobbyist to do that because you're not a lobbyist. Now, if you do register as a lobbyist, guess what? You got to play by the rules. The rules are something that are very interesting, maybe loosely translated, as we will discuss a little later on, because if you have to register as a lobbyist, not everyone is playing by the rules. Now, I found this very interesting. Again, the Secretary of State's website, Elaine Marshall, says, can a state agency pay a lobbyist? So in our case, say the North Carolina Division of Marine Fisheries, can they pay a lobbyist? State agencies cannot pay outside lobbyists. The plot thickens. They can make lobbying part of their employees' duties. Those employees have to register as liaisons. So somebody from the Division of Marine Fisheries, they don't have to, they can make lobbying part of their job. When I see a conflict of interest, anybody please email me, let me know what you think, let me know if you know an answer that I don't know. But if it's part of their job, say somebody with a Division of Marine Fisheries It's part of their job to lobby. So now they can go to, I don't know who the representatives are in Wake County. They can go there and say, oh yeah, we really need to pass this bill. Where altruism is gone. This is now agenda. So what if somebody has an erroneous agenda with the Division of Marine Fisheries, and now they're walking around the hallways of Raleigh promoting something that might not necessarily be true? Because the impression all of y'all have made so far with any of my videos, that if you're a lobbyist, you're a bad guy. You're a crook. You're doing something nefarious. Hiding behind those bushes again in Burlington, jumping out. Boom, I'm a lobbyist. So, but state agencies can. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, the plot thickens. That's about registering as a lobbyist here in the state of North Carolina. As I made mention on top of the program, all of these organizations we're going to be talking about, to my knowledge, unless something's changed, are 501c3 nonprofit charitable organizations. To get that status of 501c3, you got to go to, guess who? The IRS, the federal government. And basically, the IRS doesn't mess around. If you are a 501c3 nonprofit, this is what they say about lobbying. In general, no organization may qualify for Section 501c3 status if a substantial, keyword, part of its activities is attempting to influence legislation. Next paragraph, legislation includes action by Congress, any state legislature, any local council, or similar governing body with respect to acts, bills, resolutions, or similar items, or by the public in referendum, ballot initiative, and it goes on. IRS gets real specific. Can't do it, can't go there. Look at the third paragraph. An organization will be regarded as attempting to influence legislation if it contacts, I like this next one, or urges the public to contact members or employees of a legislative body for the purpose of proposing, supporting, or opposing legislation. Now, hang on to those words when it says, or urges the public to contact. So you could have a lobbyist that's not doing any hallowed halls, but he's going to the public, oh yeah, say no to this, say yes to that. The IRS says, you're lobbying. It's not in the state rules, but it is with the, if you're a nonprofit 501c3, which again, all of the organizations we're going to be talking about are. Organizations may, however, involve themselves in issue of public policy without the activity being considered as lobbying. For example, organizations may conduct educational meetings, prepare and distribute educational materials, or otherwise consider public policy issues in an educational manner. The word education, that's a big word, and it has a lot of power to it, especially with the IRS. So if you're doing educational materials, now who proofs that? Who proves that? Who approves the educational material? Can the North Carolina Fisheries Association just say whatever they want to and say it's educational? Can the Coastal Conservation Association or the North Carolina Wildlife Federation say whatever they want to and say it's educational? So that's very interesting. I seriously doubt the IRS is looking over everybody's shoulder with everything they're doing. So that's interesting. Now, the IRS has two tests to find out if the substantial part of what you're doing is lobbying. The first one is called the substantial part test, and it's determined by your overall activities. If your overall activities are involved lobbying an agenda, propaganda, well, you're going to lose your 501c3 nonprofit status. You're going to be taxed. You're going to be fined. There's going to be all sorts of things happening. The second test is called the Expenditure Test. And that, as the name implies, if you spend, let's see here, expenditures related to such activities do not normally exceed an amount specified in Section 4911. You're looking at a chart right now. That is the chart basically that you're allowed to, the amount that you can expend on lobbying your cause. If you go over that, evidently most people use the substantial part test. You can pick and choose which test you want to use, which will determine whether you're a 501c3. Again, this isn't about lobbying from the state, but since all of the organizations are nonprofit charitable organizations, they have to adhere to the federal, the IRS standards. All right, let's take a look at who is what, who's got a lobbyist with our North Carolina organizations. I'm going to start off with the North Carolina Fisheries Association because that's what you guys have been complaining about. It's damn commercial fishermen and their lobbyists hiding behind them their bushes. And again, somebody got all the Democrats, got all the Republicans, all across the state, damn commercial fishermen and lobbyists. I went to the NCFA website, doesn't say anything about lobbyists. So I went to the Secretary of State website. Again, you can look up any organization or any person to see if they are a lobbyist. I did. Jerry Schill, lobbyist. That's just forever. Jerry's been a lobbyist for the Fisheries Association, and as he says, a very proud lobbyist. He doesn't hide the fact. And also Glenn Skinner. There's two lobbyists with the North Carolina Fisheries Association that are registered with the state. Again, you have to do this every year. You don't just register once, and you have to file quarterly, and it's public information. All right, so there's your evil beast. There's your proof that them evil commercial fishermen got two, not one, two lobbyists. Let's move on. The Coastal Conservation Association, from their website, and I quote, I'm putting it up on screen, as I always do, CCA has a registered lobbyist in Washington, D.C. And has been active in critical fisheries debates since 1984. We currently retain as many as 17 professional state and federal professional lobbyists. 17. I got at least one parked up in Washington, D.C. So them, and you, see, you try to invalidate things by saying it's a lobbyist. They're slanted. Well, guess what? CCA has 17 lobbyists. So whatever thing you're applying to the Fisheries Association and the commercial fishermen, you better apply it to the CCA as well. They got 17. Now here's where the plot thickens. I went straight to the Secretary of State's website. Couldn't find Coastal Conservation Association in there. And in fact, the executive director, last name Sneed, last time he registered was in 2021. This is 2024. Every year you have to. So why does he not have to? Maybe specifically he is not the lobbyist. Well, he better watch what he says and watch what he says. Because he's lobbying for the CCA. Now, if there's some other person, I don't know all the names. By the way, the one organization I belong to is the CCA. I am a lifetime member. I don't know, there's hundreds of people that do stuff. So if you know certain names that you can go to the state website to go see if they're a lobbyist, please do. Let me know. BillHitchcock@mail.com, BillHitchcock@mail.com, BillHitchcock@mail.com. Let me know. Anytime I'm wrong, let me know with proof, with data, not your YouTube post, you're a liar, or BS, and I accept you use the real thing. I'm just saying that's bologna sandwich. Now let's go to the North Carolina Wildlife Federation, their website. They say, our top-notch team of policy, government affairs, and lobbyists, that's plural, ensure our interests are voiced and work for the General Assembly, work in the General Assembly with our congressional delegation and within the regulatory realm of our natural resources agencies. All right, Coastal Conservation Association has 17 lobbyists. The North Carolina Wildlife Federation has lobbyists, plural, so that's more than one. Now let's just kind of take a little turn here. It's not all just fisheries related, I mean directly fish related. People like the Coastal Federation, they've been around for a while. They too have lobbyists. And I like their wording. At their website, it says, through our daily presence in the General Assembly, daily presence, you know, see, that's one of the things about Jerry Schill with the Fisheries Association. The secret to them, because they ain't got no money and everybody's just, you know, this is not really a full-time job for Jerry or Glenn. So they say the meetings, they show up. That's their big key. Real public about it, show up to the meetings. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. That's not lobbying necessarily, by the way. You and I can go to a public meeting. We can go to all of them. It doesn't mean we're lobbyists. Certainly not paid to. So the Coastal Federation, through our daily presence in the General Assembly, we advocate on behalf of the coast. We have a contract lobbyist, and they name him Rob Lame or Lamb. Forgive me if I'm well, one of those is mispronounced, I'm not meaning to, who works the halls of the legislature, moving our agenda forward. I like the Coastal Federation, what they say. They're pretty clear. They're not having to guess what's happening here. You don't have to go research people and see, are they? They didn't, like 3 years ago, last, what? So I like the Coastal Federation, whether you like them or not. It's what I understand. I kind of like one of their methodologies, by the way, of conservation. They don't raise hell, try to do rules, regulations. They just buy the property. They just, screw it, buy it, pfft, ours. Everybody bugger off. I like that a lot. So there we go. You've got two things. One, you've got the state of North Carolina that has specific rules for lobbyists. And you also, and since all of these organizations are 501c3, nonprofit, charitable organizations, which is granted to them that status by the federal government, by the Internal Revenue Service, they have their standards as well. So if you really want to get down to brass tacks, go walking up to these, well, not walking up to these organizations, just research. Again, I'll put the IRS link in the comment section. I'll put the state of North Carolina link down in there. Heck, I'll put the CCAs and the wildlife, I'll put everybody's link there. Go look. Please do. If you find, again, if you find something out that I haven't talked about, didn't know, whatever, I'm wrong, email me, billhitchcock@mail.com, 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 not Gmail. I've had a lot of people, not Gmail, it's mail.com. By the way, before I go, I got a real nice email from a gentleman, actually lives in Virginia, has a place in Nags Head. He's elderly, and he brought up, I'm a senior citizen. He brought up an issue about, you know, could folks at the age of 80 be exempt from the recreational saltwater fishing license? I don't have a problem with that. There's enough exemptions as it is. Some of them are really valid, like subsistence fishermen. Yeah, people who fish recreational, they're not commercial fishermen. They fish for food. And it's quite common during certain times of year, like April, May. You'll see folks go to the pier, the subsistence fishermen, and they get a 24-hour pier pass, and they will be there for 24 hours and 1 minute. And they'll literally catch everything they keep. Why? They're subsistence fishermen. They're trying to get food. So people like that being excluded from the recreational saltwater license is great. I'm all for it. So what do you think about folks that are 80 years old? I don't know, maybe you got a different age group. Should be exempt from fishing, saltwater fishing along the coast of North Carolina. I'm all for it. Thank you for watching. That's pretty much all I have to, I always think it's going to take 5 minutes, and here it's taking about 20 minutes. Like the video, subscribe to these videos. Topics that you want to be discuss, let me know. Let me know. If you've got some information I don't have, let me know. If I'm wrong, let me know. If I'm right, well, I know I'm right because I'm just going to the source. Anyway, Bill Hitchcock, next time.